Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. Now, there's no one in Parliament now. It's going to be a quiet couple of weeks because they've all gone home. It's the Easter holiday, so let the madness continue. This is where they get the raining cats and dogs from. It's all the cats and dog stories in the press because there's no politics now. But before that madness ensues, we do have the madness of Treasury questions yesterday, where Rachel Reeves had to stand up in the House and answer questions asked to her by those few members that can be bothered to hang around. A lot of them like to sod off early when it's a holiday, get home, beat the rush, and all sorts of things. Anyway, she did. She was asked by her shadow, the Tory finance spokesman, Mel Stride, for some details as to what she's doing to combat the tariffs that President Trump has put on. And it became quite apparent, really, that the 10% tariff is not really being looked at. They're not fussed with that. It's like they've just accepted it. That's not exactly her job. Her job is to fight and get that down and, improve British trade. Why give up on it? Well, she made this comment, and it's disingenuous to say the least, but I will read it to you. I made a note of this, so bear with me. She said, where have I put it up here? Oh, page down. Here we go. She said, discussions are ongoing across a range of government departments, including the Treasury, with the United States. Now, discussions ongoing is politics speak for, I can't really tell you anything because we haven't achieved anything. Anyway, she said, I will be meeting with the US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent shortly, but not for another 2 weeks. She's on holiday. Beyond tariffs, of course, we're discussing a range of different areas. So she's immediately drawing off away from the tariffs, you see. She doesn't really want to be asked about tariffs because she knows she's not got any chance of doing anything about them. Not without, chlorinated chickens coming into the question. Anyway, she said, we're discussing this range of different areas. But the focus is on reducing tariff and non-tariff barriers to trade. So not the tariffs themselves, but the barriers, right? That means chlorinated chickens, amongst other things. And to focus on those sectors is important as well, that are subject to higher tariffs, because although the 10% tariffs are lower than many other countries around the world, and we welcome that, they welcome the 10% tariff. Okay. The additional tariffs on cars and steel, potentially on life sciences, pose a real challenge to our country because there are some of our biggest export markets. Well, no, they're not. This is the problem. She doesn't understand. We never sell steel to America. America has never bought British steel. It's maybe bought products made of British steel, but it doesn't. America's got its own steel making. It does not buy in British steel. That's weird, isn't it? There may be, like I say, some very specialist stuff, very specialist steel that we make in particular, but generally, no. So that's not there. And as for cars, well, what do they buy? They buy upper end cars. They don't buy our, I don't even think they make Ford Fiestas anymore, but they don't buy the small European cars that we make. The only cars really that are successful and small are the Mini. And let's face it, that's German. But it's there. I mean, obviously the bigger stuff, the Range Rovers that they sell, and I think I quoted earlier in a video the other day. I said they sold 7,000 Range Rovers a year. I checked it. Actually, I was wrong on that one. I just want to put a correction in. I was looking at old data. A few years ago, it was only 7,000 a year. Has actually increased now. It's about 14,000. So they've done quite well. And I believe currently they sell a total of, across the range, Land Rover, Range Rover, and the various different flavours of them, I think it's about 40,000 a year now. So it has improved massively. So I put my hand up, got that one wrong. I looked at old data. Anyway, but these are top of the range stuff anyway, and the people rich enough to buy them don't care about price. Nobody cares about the price of a Ferrari, for example. Ferrari can put any ticket they want on it, and people will buy it because it's a Ferrari. End of story. Anyway, so she was saying additional tariffs on cars and steel, potentially on life sciences, pose this real challenge. Now, that's the admission that they're not really bothered pushing for a lowering of the 10% tariff on UK goods being exported to the United States. She only wants to get the 25% tariff on cars and steel removed. The cars that we don't sell that many of, and the steel that we don't sell any of. Is she really concentrating on the wrong thing? Does she not realise how dumb she looks? You know, is she thinking that the 10% Brexit bonus, if you will, for not paying 20% rather than just paying 10, is a win? Then she really doesn't understand her brief, does she? Her job is to get rid of that 10% first, because that's the bigger chunk of our economy. That 10% represents far more money than the 25% on cars and steel. And if she can't see that, it just goes to show that she really shouldn't be in that position. Anyway, let me know what you think. Thanks a lot. Bye.